Italy, a 23-year-old girl has still tested positive for COVID-19 after 60 days and 6 tests. A 23-year-old model, who lives in Bologna, has still tested positive for COVID-19 after almost 2 months of isolation and 6 tests. The medical story of Bianca Dobroiu, a young woman of Romanian origin, is an almost unique case for doctors. Luciano Attard, the infectivologist at the Sant'Orsola hospital where the patient was admitted, tells to the local newspaper, "We are studying her carefully. Almost 60 days have now passed since Bianca Dobroiu entered the hospital on February 28. After 4 days she was fine, but her swabs are still positive," explains the infectivologist Luciano Attard. "As far as we know, no one else in Italy has remained positive for COVID-19 for so long. Usually the positivity does not exceed 4 weeks. The girl," the infectivologist points out, "had not undergone any therapy. Sounds like she's seronegative, which means she doesn't build antibodies. My daughter is seronegative for mononucleosis and it has been awful for her, but incredibly rare. Wouldn't they have tried to inject her with someone else's antibodies yet, if it's possible? I don't know exactly how it works, but my dad gets monthly plasma infusions. I think he said is a mixture of multiple people's plasmas and has various antibodies. Sounds like he's infusing immunoglobulins, IgG. That's what I do. You can get it once a month through IV. If you don't make enough antibodies or you have an antibody defect, then they give you IgG. It's made out of a pool of thousands of donors' plasma. They pull out the IgG and then sell it to people with immune deficiencies primarily, but also to people with other approved diseases. I'm speculating here based on my limited knowledge, but the IgG people like me get doesn't have SARS-CoV-2 antibodies. That means that if our bodies manage to fight off the virus, we may not have enough or in some cases any antibodies in our blood days or weeks later. However, once enough people get the virus and it makes its way into the IgG supply in 9 to 18 months, we will get the antibodies we need to fight the virus. As a result, our blood will show positive for IgG novel coronavirus antibodies despite the fact we may have never had the virus. They can test other ways though for the virus, e.g. IgM. I have antibodies of thousands of people coursing through my blood. Kinda cool. Wow. Thanks for explaining. My dad has no spleen and also is a sepsis survivor. He started getting them after that. I had a septic infection several years ago and don't need infusions. However, the infection was caught pretty quickly, and I still have my spleen. I think the sepsis experience just revealed his need for the infusions. He was in the hospital for 3 months and had to have multiple amputations.